Hi everyone, Mark Rhodes here, author of How to Talk to Absolutely Anyone. In this online seminar we're going to be going through the skill set and mindset that you need to develop to be able to talk to people you don't know, whether that's in a business situation or a social situation. So let's take a look at what we're going to be covering today. The only two possible outcomes that you can have from a conversation, and in my opinion both are good. It says notebooks ready there because, nothing substitutes taking notes in my opinion, even if they're brief notes. We think we're going to remember it all when we understand it in the moment, but there'll be things come up that are really relevant to you in this presentation. And it'd be really great if you could take down some notes of things that really ring true for you, or you think that's really important for me. So if you've not got a notebook and pen to hand, why not just pause the video now briefly, go get your notebook and pen, and then resume watching the video. What do we do if we start to talk to somebody and it doesn't go too well? As it says there are only two possible outcomes from a conversation, and in my opinion both are good. And the two outcomes are, if I start to talk to somebody, that's either going to go really well or it's a funny story to tell people. Now, obviously, if a conversation goes very well, that's great. But if it doesn't go well, let's say I start to talk to somebody and they completely ignore me. Or I start to talk to somebody and they say, I don't want to talk to you. Now, that has never ever happened to me in all the interactions I've had. The worst thing that's ever happened to me, other than an embarrassing moment that I'll talk about in a minute, the worst thing that's ever happened to me once I got out there and started talking to people that I didn't know was that people said nothing or they ignored me. And the meaning I attached to that wasn't that they ignored me. I just said to myself, oh well, they must be shy, or perhaps they're in a mood, or perhaps they didn't hear me. You see, I applied the meaning that it was something about them, not me and what I was doing. So if I spoke to somebody and they didn't reply or they ignored me, I just go, oh well, they must be shy. Oh, I feel sorry for them, I used to be shy once. And that's what I would say. Now, the other thing is, if you start to talk to somebody and it doesn't go well as you might think, because they say something like, oh, I really don't want to talk to you, please don't talk to me, which again, as I say, I've never had happen. The situation there is, it's a funny story to go and tell people. What you do is you go and you tell 5 people you know, oh, you never guess what happened to me today. I spoke to this person, I just asked them a simple question, and do you know what they did? They turned round and said to me, please don't talk to me. Do you know what? I felt a right idiot. I wish the ground could have opened up and swallowed me. Now, when you tell 4 or 5 people the story like that it's a funny story, all of a sudden, you don't take it serious yourself anymore. You see it as a funny story, a funny occurrence. It was an adventure, it was something that happened. You don't take it to heart, you don't take it to your identity. So I promised to say the embarrassing thing that happened to me, which I guess in hindsight wasn't that embarrassing. But basically, I was in the early stages some years back of developing my ability to go and talk to people I don't know. And I was on the way to a meeting and I walked past this greengrocer store. And at the time, my wife and I were thinking about getting a dog, and we were thinking about getting a Cocker Spaniel. And I saw this little dog tied up outside the greengrocer store and thought that it looked like a Cocker Spaniel. And there was this elderly couple there with the dog, and I sort of was about to say, excuse me, is that a Cocker Spaniel? My wife and I are thinking of getting one. And I hesitated, I didn't do it. And about 3 seconds after the hesitation and taking about 3 or 4 steps, I said to myself, no, don't be stupid, Mark, of course you can do this. It's not going to be the end of the world if you do. And I stopped and I turned round to them and I said, excuse me, is that a Cocker Spaniel? And they said, it's not our dog, dear. You see, and at that moment, I was flooded with embarrassment, and I said, okay, sorry, and hurried off. But very quickly it came to me, I thought, hang on, Mark, this is just a funny story to tell people. You know, and I came home and I told my wife and I told some friends, and by the time I've done that, just like telling you now, it's not an event I think back and think, oh my God, what a disaster. I still wish to this day I'd never said something to that couple about that dog, because I really do just see that as a funny story now. It was something to tell others, and that is one of the most powerful things we can do. Look at the fact that there are only two possible outcomes from a conversation or an attempt to start a conversation, and both are good. It either went very well or it was a funny story to tell people later. Because after all, if it doesn't go too well, it just means the other person wasn't interested in the conversation. They don't know enough about you. They don't probably know anything about you to be able to judge you or have an opinion on you. And as I said, in those situations, I just think, oh well, perhaps they're shy. Perhaps they've got a lot on. Perhaps they didn't understand me. Perhaps they didn't think I was talking to them. Thanks for joining me on this webinar, and I look forward to helping you again in the future.